Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Connections. I'm Marnie, your host. Glad you're joining us in this beautiful, almost middle of August. So many things going on, just excitement going all through the town of Prescott Valley. And here's where you hear about most things happening. My first guest is Dr. Craig Ralston, who is the Dean of the Performing Arts, but also Director of Programming and Development for our very own Yavapai College Performing Arts Center. Welcome, Craig. Dr. Ralston. I know I call you Craig.
Yes, Craig is good.
Good to see you. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last time we were talking, you were here on the show. We were talking about work being done at the Performing Arts Center, and you had moved your concert series in the spring to our Theater on the Green.
Absolutely.
And?
Yes. Well, we had 4 shows, actually 5 shows this past spring. Great attendance. Some of our concerts were over 1,000. People loved coming outside, Marnie. It was just very special to be under the stars, to not be inside, and just to have great music. The acoustics are incredible with that, the stage set up outdoors. And so we decided to do another 4. So
Wow.
we are starting this Sunday, the 22nd, 7 p.m. We're doing a John Denver tribute. So many of us remember.
Country Road.
Exactly.
I was a John Denver, big John Denver
Me
fan.
too.
May he rest in
Me
peace. I
too.
know it was just the music was just so heartfelt, and you could sing along so easily.
Exactly.
Annie's song and some of the special ones.
You fill up my senses. That's right. I remember the words. I remember
Yes.
the words. So that's this Sunday.
This Sunday, the
So
22nd.
We want folks to come out. We've already sold about 800 tickets, but there is space because we go up to about 1,000, and we don't have to sit on top of each other, Marnie, because that lawn is it's vast, it's beautiful, and it's such a great experience.
It's super green
And
right now.
It's green, and there's no rain this Sunday night. So
No,
we
of
want
course not.
people to come out.
Yeah, you were saying that you were pleasantly surprised that you think 1,000 people, and you had over 1,000 at some of your spring concerts,
did.
that it never felt crowded. That
No,
it was
it doesn't.
spacious still.
Correct. I mean, we were doing distancing back then, so people were not sitting on top of each other.
Right.
Maybe a little closer, but not literally next to each other. And, about 1,100 people, and we were comfortable.
Yes.
So, don't be afraid, folks out there, that there's an issue with the seating when it gets big, because that space is really large, and it's just magical. We love being in Prescott Valley. We so enjoy bringing the concerts here, and the community has they've come out and told us, please keep doing this.
Please come back.
So I have booked dates for next summer already, Marnie. We will be back next summer.
Yay.
We will do this every year.
Oh.
Concerts on the Green.
Well, we love having it here. I know it's from many of us have come from different places, would go to concerts outdoors and just
Right.
loved them, and the Hollywood Bowl, places like that.
Exactly.
You probably know. And so
Yes.
to have it in our own backyard, in our community, it's really a great use of that space, and I think
is.
that's why it was built.
Absolutely.
bring-
It's very special.
Yeah.
My only regret is, why didn't I do this sooner? But we are doing it now. We've got 4 coming up.
Right.
We have September 5th, Run Boy Run, which is a band from Phoenix that you really need to see. September 19th, the Arizona Highwaymen, and October 3rd, the Piano Men. And then we do open the pack October 15th. So
Okay.
we will be back. We have a new roof. We have a new HVAC system. So state-of-the-arts, purifying that air that we'll be breathing. And we want folks to come back into the building as well towards the end of October.
Well, now you've announced your season for
We
the
have.
pack, so why don't you
have.
share a little bit of what the
Sure.
highlights coming up for that are, which is pretty
Absolutely.
exciting. That I just love live music and theater, and it's exciting to have it coming back again.
It is, and I know with, COVID and Delta, we're still hesitant, but we are following CDC guidelines and our state mandates, and we want to be careful, but we also want to continue with the performing arts. Our students entered our buildings yesterday for their classes. They're chomping at the bit. We have auditions for shows coming up. We're just delighted to have that physical energy, and as you know, there's
Right.
something different about, Zoom is flat and takes it takes all the energy out of us, but being in
Well, you're right.
person, it feels magical. It really does. And so we have all kinds of great shows coming up. One I would like to talk about, because it's co-produced with the U.S. Vets, and that's Voices of Service. They were on America's Got Talent a couple years ago. They are servicemen, either retired or currently in the service, and they sing, and they are incredible. So on Friday, November 12th, so that's a day after Veterans Day, we will
Okay.
have the special U.S. Vets concert. And so we want people to come out because, of course, supporting our vets, I think, is so important.
Absolutely.
And anything patriotic for me is just dynamite. I have to be there, to celebrate this great country. So
I
Voices of
remember them.
Service.
I remember hearing them
Yeah.
and seeing them on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
They are.
What a show. What a show.
It's going to be very special.
Uh-huh.
And then Josh Turner, big country artist, we've got him December 2nd. So he's back. He was here about 4 or 5 years ago. We're going to do our own shows. Handel's Messiah, of course, is one of our Christmas favorites, where we combined all our choruses and orchestra. And we'll be flying in some soloists from around the country. So we'll have some special soloists for Messiah. And then we're going to do It's a Wonderful Life. So that's
a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic. That 1940s Frank Capra movie is just timeless. And we thought, let's bring a story of hope and through all the difficulties that we've been through during COVID, to say, you know what, we can still be grateful. We do have a wonderful life,
Right,
despite
right.
those hardships.
Oh, what a great message.
It is.
Yeah, great
And so
message.
we're excited. We've got people auditioning. We're going to go into rehearsals. And so it is a musical. It's not just a play. And so we invite folks to come out for It's a Wonderful Life towards the end of December. And then it's going to be 2022, Marnie.
Oh my gosh. And there we are.
Yeah, just like that.
Another year.
Another year. I don't know if you're struggling, all the folks at home are struggling about. I'm not sure which year the past is anymore. Was that 18 or 19? Was it?
Oh,
I mean,
I
20.
know.
20. We don't even know what 20 was.
Where'd that go?
But now we're going towards 22. But 22, we have a great lineup. Just some of the names. We have Croce plays Croce, which is A.J. Croce's playing his father's music from the 70s. We Banjo 3, which is a great group of young guys from Ireland on their banjos. The Ten Tenors, which honestly, the last time we had the Ten Tenors, it was a Christmas concert.
Okay.
And it had to be one of the smoothest, most well-produced shows I've ever seen. And of course, 10 voices up there making an incredible sound. It's going to be, it's a Valentine's concert. So
bring
we
your
invite,
sweetheart.
that's right, we invite folks, bring your sweetheart and come on out. That's actually the 16th of February. And then a couple more. Pink Martini's back.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah,
They're great.
swing band, they're incredible. China will be the soloist, so we're thrilled that she's coming. And then Brian Reagan is one of my favorites. My kids, ever since they were young, we've been watching these clips on YouTube and Netflix of Brian Reagan, the comedian.
Okay.
And he's very family friendly in his comedy, but he's hilarious. So I'm going to be there with my kids watching him, and he's just going to be a treat for us. And then the big one is Boz Scaggs. So those of us who've lived a few
Yes,
decades,
a few decades. Mark's going, yes, back there.
we know who Boz Scaggs is.
Yeah.
And so it was a great coup for us to get Boz to come. We, of course, he was supposed to be here last year, but we'll have him in 22.
Yeah.
So we'll end our season with Boz Scaggs. So we want people to check out the season on our website, www.ycpac.com. And please sign up early. The ticket sales are coming up in the next couple weeks. And so be watching for those release dates of all those tickets.
Everything you want, Yavapai College Performing Arts Center. Thank you, Dr. Craig Ralston.
Thank
and
you, Marnie.
But we'll see you on the 22nd out at the Theater on the Green
Yes.
for the John Denver tribute.
Absolutely.
All right.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, welcome back to Community Connections, keeping on our theme of what's going on in Prescott Valley and looking to the future. Joining me now is Eric Fitzer, the Community Development Interim Director, who has this huge project as interim director, and it's looking at the General Plan 2035. And if that you're trying to think of how many years from that is, it's quite a while. But we always look forward when you're planning your community. So Eric, tell us how this whole process works. I know we had General Plan 2025, which seems like forever ago we worked on, and now it's time to look at what the next vision of Prescott Valley is with 2035.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you very much for having me here today, and I'm very excited to talk
great to
about
meet
the
you.
general plan. Yeah, very good to meet you too. So the General Plan 2035, we're calling it a vision for the future. The state mandates municipalities to adopt or update general plans every 10 years. So this is part of that process. Currently the general plan has 8 different elements. It goes from land use all the way to environment, to water, to circulation, and those types of items. So over this course of this update, we'll be looking at updating those items, as well as council's actually tasked us with adding a couple different elements as well. One is an education element. They want to focus on education, how we're working with the different, the school district, Yavapai College, NAU, on how we're cultivating education in the community. And public safety has come to the forefront as well, working with CAFMA and working with the police department as well as EMS services. So these are the items that we'll be looking at over the course of the next year to 2 years on this update, or year of this update.
Well, and I don't remember when we were involved in it, that it was also looking at the business community and what their plans for the future was with the type of business growth we were looking at, areas of whether it's service-related manufacturing and how that all fits in too.
That's 100% correct. We have an economic development element that we'll be looking to update. We'll be working closely with the chamber as well as our economic development group and the Prescott Valley Economic Development Foundation as well.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
I was going to say the acronym, and I figured I'd spell that out. So we're working with those on how we update that element as well. So this is a 100% update. We'll also have changes on demographics over the years.
Sure.
We'll have the new census data that we'll be implementing and so forth. So there'll be some moving parts to this, but overall we're keeping most of the plan intact. But we are adding new elements, and we'll be changing elements, and through this public process, we'll be looking at other areas we need to change.
Well, because the plans might have shown something that were in the plans, but we've accomplished it. So then you move forward, what is the next step? Or what, next we can add, or how do we do it better or get to that next level?
And that's exactly right. Goals, partnerships, goals, and how we're going to establish those goals, what goals we've met, what goals we haven't, and what future goals that we have for the community.
And there's a public process to this. That's one of the reasons we're out here doing a lot of communicating about it, is because it's not just an internal plan that's done by staff and council. There's a public process to that, where there's input from our residents.
Exactly. So one of the things we're really focusing in on is meaningful public involvement. That's one thing that council wants to see, our planning and zoning commission wants to see, and management wants to see. So we'll be making updates internally. However, we'll be relaying those updates externally as well. We're also looking at providing many different options for the public to comment. One of the items we're looking at establishing is a web page under www.pvaz.net, specifically in the community development department portion of the web page, where we have an area where the public can make comments specifically in that site. We'll also be taking written comments, verbal comments through public hearings, through meetings, and so forth. In fact, one of our first meetings on this subject is going to be on the September 13th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We're going to do a work session on water with our water resources manager, John Munderloh, where he'll be talking about kind of development, water, as well as the environmental and water resources element of the general plan. So we'll be speaking a little bit to both. So we'll be scheduling that on September 13th.
And I know you both are scheduled to speak at our quarterly breakfast on September the 21st, presenting to the business community and what this is going to look like. And I know you're speaking, as well as John, on what the involvement is and how people can participate. Is there going to be a survey component to this? Sometimes it's the reaching the citizens, asking, what are your thoughts on specific areas?
Yeah, that will exactly be happening as well. We'll be unveiling that survey component, just general notes components. Our goal is to, one of the best things when you deal with from a planning sense is having written comments. They're much easier to address than just verbal. However, we'll be taking all forms of comments and addressing those along the way. We'll also be having these public hearings where people can come and speak, and we'll be taking minutes and notes and those types of things at those meetings too.
Are you going to take it on the road, though? Maybe, like, say we have public hearings here, and not everybody can get out at the same time when you're holding that. Are you going to go out to the various, community centers to make contact with folks living in, let's say, Quailwood or, Stone Ridge? Granville, et cetera.
We'll be scheduling with the HOAs, as well as we'll have some public hearings here at the library. However, we'll be looking to schedule a couple other different public meetings and public hearings outside. One of the requirements by state law is when you start taking this to the process, one of the first P&Z meetings can be on site at your normal P&Z gathering place, but then you do one outside of there. That would be kind of the final meeting when then it would go in front of council. But we'll be looking at making contact with the HOAs, the different organizations in and around the community, as well as you kind of alluded to the presentation will be given at the chamber. So we're looking if there's other organizations we need to get in contact with, I would definitely want to do so. And if we can hear from those organizations, definitely please call us, email,
Right.
And we'll schedule time so we can come out and give a brief on where we're at in the process and the overall process.
So then we just have a couple minutes here. So all the public comments are taken, council, staff, everybody puts the plan together, then it's available for review.
Yes.
And then it's approved?
So what happens is there's a 60-day review time frame. So we're looking at potentially opening up that 60-day review in December.
Okay.
December 14th would be the open. We'll be taking it to P&Z on the 13th, but there will be prior P&Z dates where we'll be talking about the different elements before that. Once it goes there, it would the 60-day review go out. We'd have some more public meetings on it once the full draft goes out, and then at that point we'd be taking it through Planning and Zoning Commission through 2 meetings for potential action and recommendation to council. A potential recommendation to council in January what would be June, and then it would go on the ballot. Potentially in November of 2022.
Oh, okay. So it's voted on.
Exactly, voted on by the citizenry. Just similar way that was done
Right.
in 2025, where it was ratified by the voters in March.
Well, it's nice to know that because, since the last time we did it, there's a lot of new people living here. And so they may not be aware that this does go on the ballot for approval, But obviously, if you've had an opportunity to participate in the public hearings and be knowledgeable, then obviously going to the ballot to vote, is much more easier when you're going to a decision-making process.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons to really do meaningful public involvement with everyone, so everyone knows what's going on, the plan is going forward, and so forth.
Well, thank you. We've got a lot ahead of us. You've got a strict timeline, but we're excited. So thank you very much for joining us. General Plan 2035. Short break when we come back. More here on Community Connections.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Don't think you know. Know you know.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
And joining me now is Doug Gillette and Dick Gage from the Central Arizona Model Railroad Club, and we're talking about the Beat the Heat Model Train Show and Swap Meet. Big boys and their train toys. Hi, guys.
Hello. Exactly. Thank you, Marnie, for having us in here. We always appreciate getting our message out as best we can.
Absolutely.
And thanks very much for that.
Well, I don't think there's any of us that haven't had trains in our lives. And even, back when I was a little girl, and I had all sisters, we still had a little train that was fun to play with.
Well, you always at least had one around the Christmas tree.
Yes, that was also in my family.
The funny thing about the trains, because when we were kids, railroads were everywhere. Even in Prescott, until the till the 80s, there was a railroad came through, part of the Santa Fe system. But when I was a kid in a small town in North Dakota, we have a train through it. Now trains are fewer and far between. They used to go through cities. They used to go through your ranch lands and your farmlands, and now it was almost a common phenomenon for a little guy 12 years old to see this big train going by and loving it. So
And wanted to buy one.
Yep.
But I think that there's still, even for kids and people, a fascination with trains.
Yeah.
And people, train travel across the country, passenger train. Even when they can get there quicker, driving or even, flying.
Flying.
But the experience of the train and the sounds, and I think that
I want
that's
to say the romance.
maybe so. Maybe there is certain,
Yeah.
I would have to admit, there's
Yeah,
a certain romance to
something
trains.
special about it.
When
Yeah.
you stand by the track, when I was a kid, when I rode my first steam locomotive in a cab at 10 or 12 years old, it was scary, but at the same time, it was awe-inspiring because you had this big steam, massive belching locomotive pulling maybe 50, 60 cars, and it really, I just fell in love with it at an early age.
Right.
So
One of the things I still love about Flagstaff, you're right in the middle,
Oh,
right
yeah.
at dinner or right to stay in a hotel. It's like you still hear the
Hear the
train
trains
coming through
right
town.
town.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about the Beat the Heat train show and Swap Meet. But it's sponsored by the Central Arizona Model Railroad
Club. Yeah,
Club,
correct.
you guys. And how long have you been a member, Doug?
About 6, 7 years now, I guess.
Okay.
you mean decades?
No, not decades.
And everyone kind of has a specialty as far as size of the train. And if, we have a couple of samples exhibits here, the gauge size, right?
yes.
I'm using the right term.
You got the right term.
So what is your, the train size that you particularly work with or collect?
I'm stuck in the 1950s with Lionel O gauge.
Okay.
O gauge. Now, is that similar?
No, it's
okay.
kind of sort of in the middle here.
Middle,
Yeah,
okay.
Which actually got smaller. We have an N gauge, which is even smaller than this. You have the HO, then you have American Flyer, which is a little smaller than my Lionel, and then you get to these big boys, the Garden Railroads.
Okay.
All these except this guy can usually go inside a house or a garage.
So this would be an outdoor.
That's not
display.
mostly outdoor.
And Nick, how about you?
I'm HO,
Okay.
and that's why they call me HO Gauge, so
Oh.
my nickname.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that do decals, and they made them up, so I wanted to bring these in to show the different sizes, as well as this being the Santa Fe, Prescott, and Phoenix Railroad, which used to come down from Ash Fork through Prescott, down to Skull Valley, and then on to Phoenix.
Oh, my.
Of course,
okay.
that ended quite a while ago, and then it ended in Prescott in the 80s, I think. But it's, I say, it's really fun, and our swap meet, we've been doing it for over 30 years. The club's been around about 35 years.
Yeah.
One of our oldest charter members is Robert Pratt, and he's 96 or 97.
Oh, my.
And he still comes to the meetings, he's still active, and it's funny, I can't pinpoint the exact time we started, but it started with maybe 10 guys. And now at one point, we did have about 100, but between COVID last year and starting up this year, I'm not sure what our numbers are.
We're slightly down from that.
Yeah.
But
Right, that's-
even during the pandemic, we still picked up some new members.
Yeah.
So you did not have this last year.
No.
So
no.
you're back.
We almost had it until
Uh-huh.
the school shut us down.
Right, that's right, because you hold it at Liberty Traditional School.
They're in PV.
Okay, so this is happening on, what day? Saturday, August 21st. So it's this Saturday, we're talking about it now, but we're also talking about the opportunity for anybody that's interested in trains can be involved with your group.
Exactly.
You
Yes,
know, so,
we have a Facebook presence, Central Arizona Model Railroader Club. It's out there. It's free, obviously. You can go out there and check out some of the postings, guys' layouts, information, and be happy to send you guys a application. In fact, there'll be applications available at the swap meet.
We
okay,
really,
let's talk
be
about the
members.
swap meet and what's going on there.
well, what
Who's there? Who's swapping? Are you selling, buying, trading?
All the above.
Okay.
It's our members, plus we have quite a few outside vendors from, we've got guys coming all the way from Kingman and Flagstaff and
Henderson, Nevada.
Henderson, Nevada.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a big thing with 100 tables. It really is a
Yeah.
big deal because it's been so bad for the last year. There's this, we hope, a pent-up demand for
Yeah.
the public,
They're bursting to come out.
hopefully to come out and buy trains.
We also been trying to feature this in the last few years because we know it's an aging hobby, even though most of us have started it many decades ago, but we want families to come with their kids. It's only a $5 admission, and kids 12 and under are free.
Free.
And after the show, they can go to these different homes where the layouts are presented so they exactly see what's going on. It's pretty relevant because we're up to modern technology, how we run and operate the model train. So
So will there be trains on display? running or tracks?
At
not
the swap meet,
there.
no.
Okay.
I mean, we'll have a test track if you want to buy something, you
Right.
can test it. But no, we don't have room in Liberty Traditional
Oh,
for
okay.
operating layouts. That's why we offer.
We gotta move to the Findlay Toyota Center then, and then you can really set up.
I'd like to, but the price would kill us.
Well, that's an opportunity.
You got a deal?
Well, I think.
You know them very well.
Just slightly, but I think that, that would just enhance that experience, although, it'd be you'd have to do it several days, only because to set all that up
yes.
and have those trains running, which would be exciting. So people can go and add to their collection or start a collection.
Yes, all the above.
Uh-huh.
We've got, I'm sure we'll have beginners sets, relatively inexpensive things, up to the, oh my God, I'm gonna take a loan out.
Well, the nice thing too about the swap meet, we always have a raffle, and the raffle basically features 2 tickets to the Verde Canyon Railroad. Every year they donate, and
Yeah.
plus we have other things to give away, and we have lots of door prizes, including model train stuff and
Restaurants, local restaurants.
Okay, so let's get back to this because we're running out of time here. So it's this Saturday, August 21st from 9 to 1. Liberty Traditional School is located on Lake Valley Road, 3300 Lake Valley Road in Prescott Valley. And adults are $5, children
Under
12
12
and under
free.
free. And you can start your own collection for maybe the holidays. So bring the kids out.
Yes,
A lot of fun.
And our invitation will go to you, right?
Yes.
yes.
To come as a
Doug,
guest of the club.
Central Arizona Model
Road
Road
Club.
Club. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
a great 2 weeks.
Thank you.